How do you do? Storyteller here, and we are back with something similar to something we did before. Before we took a psychopathy quiz. This time, these are just questions on how your mind works and things you prefer. Kind of a would you rather kind of game, but it's some serious thought-provoking questions quiz. So, this looks interesting. I haven't read through all the questions, just the first few to make sure it was, appropriate, but I'm really interested in these kind of deep, personal questions, so I might be doing this more often, so let's get started. Would you rather be blind or deaf? That's a hard one. I do have the option to skip in these, but I'll try not to do that. I'll try to answer as straightforward as possible. Honestly, the way I am, I do love music. Don't get me wrong. But the kind of person I am who is already clumsy and awkward and completely... I have difficulty with perspective judgment, like depth perception already. So to completely lose my sight, completely, I would be completely I wouldn't be able to function without my sight. Deaf, I feel like I'd be okay. I wouldn't be able to enjoy music, but that really wouldn't stop me from trying to play piano. I'd be that person who, even though I can't hear it, I'd still be trying to play it. But I feel like it wouldn't be as bad. I would still be able to function, so I'd say deaf. Would I rather lose an arm or a leg? That's hard. I would say I'd rather lose an arm, simply because there are a lot of things I want to do. During the summer, I'm a very active person, and I just feel like I would be able to function a lot better with one arm than with one leg. Nothing against people who only have one leg. I've actually known quite a few people who only have one leg. I worked with a guy, detour, it's a little story here. I worked with a guy at one of my old jobs, and he had I can't focus with this ad going on. Sorry. He had a mechanical leg, and I thought it was the coolest thing. Not to say that it's cool to have one leg, but the way he was able to function, he would play it off like it was nothing. He would run around, he'd kick open doors with it. He was so functional with it. But it impressed me so much how positive he could be when obviously it was probably not easy at all. I mean, the contraption, it was metal and it had compression gears and it looked so complex, but I can't imagine that thing is comfortable or easy to work with, but I was honestly so impressed by how well he functioned with it. I don't think I could do that. I'm already a klutz. So I would say I'd rather lose an arm than a leg. Preferably I'd rather lose my left arm because I'm right-handed. I could function with just my right hand. I could still write. I could still, I don't know, take pictures. I'm studying to be a photographer. I could still take pictures with one hand. So I'd rather lose an arm than a leg. That's just me. Hey, easy. Question 3. Live and let die, or die and let live? I think this is a self-sacrifice kind of question. Would I rather self-preserve and try to... I'm picturing like a hostage situation. There are 2 hostages, and there's a gun on us. Would I rather let the other person get shot and let me live? Or would I rather take the bullet and let them live? In my case, I'd like to think I would be the one to step in front of the bullet. Like, assuming they only had one bullet and only one of us was going to die. I think I would be the one who would want to step in front of it. I don't know, unless I've been in that situation, I really can't say what I would do. But I'd like to think, so that's why I'm going to click it. I'd like to think I'd rather sacrifice myself than let somebody else sacrifice themselves. Which way would you rather die? Oh boy. Drown, heck no, get stabbed, or skip. Drowning is a really bad way to go. It's one of the worst. But getting stabbed, it depends on where you get stabbed. Because if you get stabbed, like, in the heart or through the eyeball and it hits your brain, that's pretty quick. If you get your main artery severed, it would only take, 2 minutes. But if you get stabbed in, the stomach, that could take... You might not even die from that. It's implying that you would die, but that would take a long time for you to die. Drowning, you die pretty quickly, but it's a horrible way to go. You feel everything. Honestly, that's so hard. Both are so terrible. I think, though, I would rather get stabbed, because drowning, this is just my thought process. When you're drowning, you're alone and you're down and I'm picturing a weight getting tied to your leg and going down, not like somebody holding your head under a bathtub or something. I'm picturing getting a stone tied to your leg and drowning. Blub, blub, die. In that case, I'd rather get stabbed. I don't know, now that I've presented the head being held under in the bathtub, I don't know if that'd be worse than getting stabbed. My point is, if you get stabbed, there's still a chance where, unless it's immediate, you could see someone you know, you could see someone you love, and you'd still have a chance to talk to them before you died. You could be bleeding out, but it could take several minutes. You could still have a chance to say your piece. Drowning, you don't have time to do anything. You're just dying. You're just dead. It relatively quickly, but painfully. So I would rather get stabbed and have a chance to say my piece than drown and endure it all underwater. So I'd rather get stabbed than drown. Question number 5. Live in a world without color or a world without electricity? Ooh. You see, the problem is, I'm not entirely opposed to the idea of living without electricity, as ironic as that is to be saying that on the internet in front of a webcam, in front of a computer with 2 different lights on, headphones, my phone next to me, my camera on my desk. I'm surrounded by electric appliances, microphone. I'm surrounded by all of this technology, and yet I wouldn't actually... It would be difficult, but I think I would actually be okay living without electricity. I think it would be kind of it would be definitely old-fashioned. It would be interesting. It would test your survival tactics, finding a way to make warmth, to make light, for cooking, for... Everything would be different. But humans have done that. Humans can do that. We've lived through that. We had centuries with that. We know how to endure that. But to live in a world without color... I mean, looking at black and white pictures, you say, oh, it's so pretty, it's beautiful, but to live in a world without color, I feel like I personally would be so depressed. It would be like living your entire life in a detective movie. Everything is gray and black and white, and I feel like that would be so dreary. I would get so depressed by that. So if that's what it came to, I would much rather live without electricity, go back to a more simple time where you have to struggle a bit more, but at least you have color, you have something beautiful to look at. I picture the Amish communities, or the I think it's Amish, right? Yeah, they live in that time period with no electricity, no modern appliances, that kind of thing. I think that would be so much better than having to live in a world completely without color. I mean, what would art be? there would be nothing. The pictures, yes, would be different, but there'd be no distinguishing colors, no distinguishing shades or shadowing, or it would all be black, white, and gray. That would be so depressing. So I'd rather live without electricity than live in a world without color. That's just me. You might be different. That's okay if you are. We don't have to have the same choices here. I encourage you guys to take these for yourself. It kind of makes you think about your own preferences. It makes you think about yourself more as an individually thinking person. What would you do? What would you think or say or act? It's really interesting. Anyway, back to the questions. I ramble. Would you rather get burned or suffocate? Get burned how much? You see, that's the problem. You didn't say how much would I get burned. I'd bump my hand against frying pans and burn myself constantly. My hands are so scarred. If you just said get burned, you didn't say burn to death. Suffocate implies suffocate to death. Lack of oxygen, you kind of need that. But get burned, you could just burn your hand on something. I would much rather get burned than suffocate, under the implications that it was not clearly specified. I'd make a great genie. I'm good at finding loopholes. But yeah, it didn't specify burned to death. I'd rather get, ouch, burned than suffocate. So, we kind of got free there, but I'm just going to move on. Eat a snake or get eaten by a snake? That's not even a hard question. I'd eat a snake anyway. Even if I wasn't being pressured into it by the threat of getting eaten by a snake, which is horrible because it'll crush all your bones first before you'll get digested. You'll just get crushed to death. But I'd rather eat a snake. I would do that anyway if somebody offered it to me. Hey, you want to try some snake? Heck yeah, I want to try some snake. Is that weird? Do you hear that? I don't know. Would I rather sit on... Do you keep hearing something? I don't know. Sit on top of a tower with a metal rod, or wrestle with a bloodthirsty lion? You didn't say in a thunderstorm or lightning storm. You just said sit on top of a tower with a metal rod. I mean, obviously that's a major oversight, right? Because I could just sit on top of a tall building with a metal rod on a bright, sunshiny day. They didn't say in a thunderstorm. Of course, I mean, it would be kind of cool to wrestle with a lion, but I could just sit on top of any... Really? Try this again. There we go. Go to the next page. Sorry, it does that sometimes. A snake. Yeah, I'd rather sit on top of a tower with a metal rod. It didn't say in a lightning storm. You just have to sit on top of a stupid tower with a stick. A psycho killer is chasing you. Which weapon would you rather him have? A knife, a gun, or skip? A knife or a gun? Basically, what is it asking me? What would I rather him have, or what would I rather get killed with? Because it doesn't say. It says he's chasing me, but it didn't say he's catching me. It didn't say he's got me. I could be running half a mile down a long road ahead of him. He just has a weapon. Doesn't mean he's going to use it. So in that case, I would rather him have a knife. Because if he has a gun and I'm down the road from him, he can just shoot me if he has good aim. But a knife, what's he going to do with it? Unless he catches me. But that's implying that he catches me. This doesn't say he caught me. So I'd rather him have a knife. Would you rather do something really embarrassing in front of someone you really like, or do something really embarrassing in front of 1,000 people, all strangers? I kind of do that already. Well, I mean, if I did it in front of 1,000 strangers, odds are the person I really like would find out anyway, because, I mean, you can't really keep something a secret when it's 1,000 people. And I feel like if I really like someone, that they would hopefully respect me enough that if I did something embarrassing, they wouldn't tell. 1,000 people, word's gonna get around. It's gonna get around pretty fast. One person that I already like, I would hope they would respect me enough to keep it quiet. So I'd rather do something really embarrassing in front of somebody I like than 1,000 strangers. That's just me. Would you rather spend the night with a prostitute? This is where the warning comes in, where I get to skip if I wanted to. Spend the night with a prostitute, or become a prostitute for the night. Just within the realm of this question, as in, I have absolutely no choice other than these two options. I'm not even considering the skip yet. I don't need to skip yet. I can make these decisions. This is not a real scenario. I would not actually do this. Nobody, kids, don't become prostitutes. But I'm just saying, in the realm of this question, would I rather spend the night with a prostitute or become a prostitute for the night? Spending the night with a prostitute implies that I get to go... This sounds horrible. I'm so sorry, but I'm trying to be honest here. This means that I get to go and pick someone who fits my preference. That doesn't mean I don't know them. I might know them. If somebody I know happens to be a prostitute. I don't happen to know any prostitutes, but if I did, I could pick someone I knew or pick someone who fits my personal preference. If I became a prostitute, I would be open to whoever the heck wanted to use my business, and I would have to go with them, and it wouldn't matter what I wanted. So in that scope, I would rather be the one to pick who fits my preference than to let someone else decide who wanted to be with me. So, just in the scope of this question, I would rather be able to pick, to some degree, who I wanted to be with than for someone else to have the liberty to choose me. Again, realm of the question, that's just me. That's what I would pick. I'm trying not to hit skip. So I'm not considering skip an option unless it's something too personal. If it's too personal, I'm just going to skip it. You might not even see it. I might just skip right over it. But I'm trying to be as honest as I can, even with funny questions like that. Even with disturbing and revealing questions like that. Just because I'm trying to be straight up with you guys. So, let's keep going. It could get worse. Let the world discover your deepest secret, or lose your best friend. Ouch. I don't have that many secrets. I've got a few. But they're not that bad. So I'd let the world discover my deepest secret. So that's me. I'm not going to go into that one. I'd rather let the world discover my deepest secret than to lose a best friend. World without TV, or world without computers? World without TV. I'm the type of person, I actually don't watch a lot of movies. Whenever I do, it's with other people, and it's just more to hang out and have fun, like either with family or with friends. The only time I watch movies or TV, it's with somebody else. I would we could do something else. We could do literally anything else. Computers, you lose access to your information, other than books and stuff, but computer really is the main source of information nowadays, so I would lose information, I would lose social media, I would lose YouTube, I would lose video games, because I'm a strictly PC gamer. Like, everything, except I play Zelda games on the Wii. Every other game I play, on here. That's a lot to sacrifice versus TV. So I'd rather do something else with my friends and family than to give up my entire scope of social stuff. Because, honestly, I'm not a very social person. I'm friendly. I'm opening my heart again to you guys. I'm a somewhat friendly person, but I'm not overly social. I don't put myself out there to talk to people. But I won't turn you away if you want to talk. or if you have something to say, or if I want to tell you something, I'll tell you. I have no reserve about that. I'm a very open person. But I'm not overly chatty. I know in these videos I talk a lot just because there's nobody else here to fill the silence. I mean, pretty quiet, right? I'm the only one who can talk here. But in real life, I'm more of the type of person who prefers to listen than to talk. I would much rather hear other people talk, hear what they have to say, hear their thoughts, their feelings, their emotions at the moment. So the computer kind of gives me a vent for me personally to be able to share my own feelings. Because in person, I'd rather listen. I'd rather listen to somebody else. This is my outlet. These videos are my way of talking to you guys instead of in-person listening. So giving up the computer would kind of be giving up my outlet, where TV means almost nothing to me, other than that shared aspect of being able to enjoy it with other people. Computer's my outlet, so I'd rather have an outlet than something in common. Other people might choose something different. To some people, TV is their outlet. TV is the way they keep up with society. It's the way they talk to other people. It's their way of, encouraging thought. I use video games and these quizzes and stories and stuff to improve my thought, to my critical nature. Not critical. To try to view life from different scopes. Does that make sense? Different perspectives, different storytelling techniques, This is my inlet, also, as well as an outlet. But to some people, TV and movies, it's their way of gathering something to share in common with other people, something to tell them about the recent times, something to bring them back to old times, to improve their imagination of what could be fantasy worlds, futuristic movies. It improves the imagination as well as giving them something to talk about with other people. So, to some people, TV is their outlet. It's their center of focus for communication. They're icebreakers. TV and movies are their icebreakers for communicating. And I can understand that, just like stories and video games are my icebreaker. It's what I talk about most of the time. I feel like I'm rambling a lot on a simple question. Anyway, I would rather be without TV than without computer. Easy enough. I need a drink. Hold on. Be in a world without animals. Or without fast food or junk food? Oh boy. You see, the obvious answer is to be in a world without junk food. Because that would be so much healthier, and that would make the world a better, fitter, stronger, healthier place. But man, I like my junk food. I am a chocolate lover. I am anything with sugar in it, anything with carbs in it. I am there. I am all there. Fast food, I can do without because I actually love to cook. I love to cook real food. But junk food, anything from candy to cookies to chips to snacks of all kinds, I am all there. But I try not to. I try to eat healthier. I try to live healthier. So, in a world where I am trying to improve myself, I would say, obviously, this one. That, and I don't want to live in a world without animals. If it hadn't said animals, if it had said something else that was easier to give up, I would have had a harder time choosing this. But I love animals, even down to pets. Why would I trade my pets for junk food? That's terrible. I hope you love your pets a little bit more than that. But if it had been something else, that would have been a much tougher question. Ooh. this goes down to the same thing, blind versus deaf. Would I rather lose an eye or an ear? But I wouldn't be completely blind or completely deaf, only half. In this case, I hate to say it like this because it sounds terrible. If it's only one, I would kind of rather lose an eye. I like having both of my ears because I already have terrible hearing, so I don't want to make that worse. But to me, the idea of only having one eye, as terrible as it is, as sorry as I feel for the people who only have one eye, who have to live through life with that, because I'm sure it's hard. You wouldn't really be able to drive correctly, at least. Like, easily. But I would rather lose an eye. It looks boss. I mean, I get to wear an eye patch? Would I get to wear an eye patch? Because that would be awesome. Just saying. But my reasoning is my hearing is bad enough. If I made it even worse, it would be terrible. So, that's my reasoning. Not because I want to wear an eye patch. Maybe a little bit. But my hearing is bad enough. And the last few questions. Would I rather live without hair or live in poverty? You see, the problem is, I was going to say live without hair because that's already something I could do. That's something I don't really care about. But if I choose that, it's making it look like I'd rather give up my hair than give up living comfortably. And the thing is, I'm not the kind of person who needs to live comfortably. I like to. I'd like to have everything I want and everything I need all the time. But that's not important to me. I'm the kind of person who could live out of a backpack. I could have granola bars and a blanket and travel. That's actually something I kind of want to do. I want to travel, I want to live out of a bag, I want to go on crazy expeditions for periods at a time. I want to be that person. I want to be a traveler. So, in a way, that kind of is poverty. That, without the ugly side of it, of being stuck somewhere, not being able to do anything about it, it's living with as little as possible. As little as you need. Living without conveniences, without comfort things. I could do that. But at the same time, hair is the same way. I've gotten to the point where hair doesn't define you. It doesn't say anything about you. As much as it's, oh, my hair is a representation of me, it's a representation of my feelings, of my personality, of my style. It kind of is, but your hair doesn't define who you are. A big thing I've struggled with is, you guys see I have short hair. I have really short hair. At one time it was half as short as this, maybe even more. It was really, really, really short. But having short hair has taught me not to care about it so much. Does that make sense? I've started to say this, the thing I struggle with all the time is people automatically jump to the assumption at times, because I have such short hair, I'm going to address the subject, that I'm a lesbian. People jump to that conclusion all the time. I hear it all the time. I'm not. That's not me. That's not who I am. I'm not saying anything against it, but that's not who I am. It's not how I roll. It's not a choice I would want to make. That's not me. But something I struggle with is being labeled as that just by people looking at me and seeing my haircut. And the way I dress, I don't exactly dress in very feminine all the time. So that with a haircut makes people jump to that conclusion. And that kind of irritates me at times. But you don't need... My point is, hair doesn't define who you are. It can be a representation of your style, but it shouldn't lead people to make a judgment about you. It's not who you are. Who you are is completely different. It could be regardless of what you look like. Same thing with anything else about your appearance. Just because that's what you look like doesn't automatically put you into a category. So, as weird as this is as for me, because I could live in poverty. I could do that. I'd be okay. As uncomfortable as it would be, as difficult as it could be, you'd struggle, but I would be okay. I don't need things. I don't need... Do you understand what I'm saying? I'd be okay. We'd be okay. And I'd be okay without hair either. If for some reason I lost it, it would be tragic. Difficult to get used to, I'm sure, but neither one of these things mean anything to me. Hair isn't who you are. It doesn't say anything about you. It's just aesthetics. It doesn't mean anything. Poverty? It'd be difficult, but I'd be okay. I have to say this one, just because the other one would be more difficult than this. I'm rating it on difficulty scale levels. Poverty would be more difficult to live with than not having hair. Not that I want one more than the other, not that one would be more tragic or more lost to me, but it would be more of a struggle than living without hair would be. That's the only way I can rank this, so moving on. 17. Would I rather marry an ugly bum that I love or a hot person that you don't love? This is a no-brainer. Why would I choose anything else? If I don't love someone, why would I marry them? That doesn't make any sense. I would... It could be the most unappealing person in the world, but if I love them, why wouldn't I want to be with them? A person could be gorgeous to look at, but if they have a horrible personality... You heard that this time. You had to have heard that. If they have a horrible personality, why would I want to be around that? Why would I want to be with them? If someone isn't kind or isn't loving or if I just don't love them, if I don't care about them, why would I want to be with them just because they're aesthetically pleasing? Same thing goes back to the last question. You're judging them based on their appearance, but having hair or not having hair. If they're beautiful for who they are, for what you find in them that you love them for. And that will be what makes them beautiful. And plus what is an ugly bum? What is an ugly bum? If you love them, there's something in them that you find beautiful. Why would I want to be with someone I don't... That's a no-brainer to me. I would rather be with somebody I love than somebody I don't love. That doesn't even make sense. End the quiz or keep going? Let's keep going. I would rather keep going. Wait, am I actually going to get to keep going? Wait, what is... Oh, for the questions, we get to see what people say. I said deaf, and that's what most people said. Okay. Would I rather lose an arm or leg? I said arm. Most people said arm. Die and let live. I said die and let live. Everybody else said that too. I'm just going with the crowd here, aren't I? I said get stabbed. Everybody else said get stabbed as opposed to drowning. I said I would rather live in a world without electricity than color. Majority agreed with me too. Would I rather burn or get suffocated? I said burned, and I'm in the minority because nobody else thought it through. Nobody else said, oh, burn means you could just burn your hand versus suffocating. Think it through, guys. In the context. Read it. Read it. You can look for the loopholes. Eat a snake or get eaten by a snake. Obviously, everybody says eat a snake. Sit on top of a tower with a metal roll or wrestle with a bloodthirsty lion. Everybody caught on to this one. They said, obviously, sit on top of a tower because you didn't say in a lightning storm. You just said sit on a tower with a stick. Everybody agrees with me except this amount of people who have a death wish. Can't help those people. A psycho killer is chasing you. Would you rather him have a gun or a knife? I said knife, and the majority agreed with me. I'm really with the crowd on this one. Do something that really embarrasses you in front of someone you like or in front of 1,000 people you don't know. The majority said in front of 1,000 people you don't know. I said in front of people you like, someone you like. The majority said do it in front of strangers. That's really interesting. Spend the night with a prostitute or become a prostitute. It's almost even here, but the majority said spend the night with a prostitute, which is what I said, so I'm still in the majority. Let the world discover your deepest secret or lose your best friend. I said discover my deepest secret, and again, the majority agrees with me, much more this time. Without TV or without computers, the majority again said without TV. Live in a world without animals or without junk/fast food. Surprisingly high number for fast food. I would expect more people to say without animals just because people are terrible. But maybe I misjudged them. The question was lose an eye or lose an ear. I said eye, and only 13% agreed with me. 68% would rather have one ear than one eye. Come on, people, you get to wear an eye patch. My hearing is already terrible. If I lost an ear, I would not ever hear my phone ring. I would never hear people calling me. I would have trouble playing the piano because I would only be able to hear out of one ear. I would much rather lose an eye. It'd be difficult to drive, but my hearing is bad enough. Live without hair or live in poverty. People agreed live without hair. Mostly for probably not wanting to live in poverty, not for the same reason as me. But, you know, same answer. So, marry an ugly bum you love or a hot person you don't love. They agreed with me, marry a bum that you love. And the quizzer keep going. Most people said keep going. Okay, so surprisingly, most people agreed with me. So that's really interesting. I kind of expected to be a little bit of a deviant in those questions, but hey, I'm apparently totally normal. Anyway, so I might go on to play another quiz, but I'll probably end this episode here. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!